Red versus Blue. Red vs. Blue is the longest running web series in history, and also my favorite show ever. Like, of all time. Like, ever. That being said, it has its faults, as you can tell from the title of this video, but overall, we're going to be talking about the highs and lows of this amazingly goofy show that captured a generation of hearts and just completely stole mine. Also, there's obviously spoilers, but I feel like I should say that somewhere, so I'm going to go ahead and say it here so no one yells at me later. This is obviously the start of the series. It's just something made as a parody of Halo and its multiplayer, making fun of it a bit while also having fun with the story.
Why are we out here? As far as I can tell, it's just a box canyon in the middle of nowhere, with no way in or out. The only reason that we set up a red base here is because they have a blue base over there. And the only reason they have a blue base over there is because we have a red base here.
Yeah, that's because we're fighting each other.
No, but I mean, even if we were to pull out today, and they were to come take our base, they would have two bases in the middle of a box canyon. Whoop-de-fucking-do.
These are for sure the golden years of Red vs. Blue. It's just a sarcastic comedy with a story that is surprisingly well written for a story about a bunch of idiots fighting a war that they don't really care about. Except Sarge. All the characters are properly fleshed out with personalities that complement each other well, and none of them feel like they shouldn't be there. A lot of people view these seasons as the best ones in the series, but I personally disagree, but I see where they come from. While this is an amazing section of the show, there isn't too much to talk about here, because it is quite literally them standing around and talking. While hilarious, there isn't much to criticize. But soon, that would all change. Things have changed heavily at this point. The Reds and Blues have left Blood Gulch. Church is an AI. Church dies. Church comes back. The Reds and Blues have found out that they're just simulation troopers. Tex is back. Tex beats the shit out of the Reds and Blues in an awesome action sequence. The Reds and Blues fight the meta. An ex-freelancer, by the way, and win. A lot happens. And it's all great. The story is amazing. These seasons are just a taste of how great the story can be in Red vs. Blue. It somehow does a perfect balance of having a more serious story, while also taking itself not seriously at all as it did before. It's just as goofy and sarcastic as before, while having a story that you genuinely care about. You want to find out more about Project Freelancer. You want to find out more about Agent Washington. You want to see what the meta is capable of, and you want to see how the Reds and Blues handle situations that are truly serious for the first time. These seasons also introduce parts of the characters that are real. Not just the choking asshole sides of them. Sarge shows that he's truly a good leader in the face of danger, and shows that even after finding out the war that he fought so hard for was just a simulation for other super soldiers, he still took the initiative to rally up his troops and take the fight to the people who created their simulation war, when everyone else had just wanted to leave already by that point. Tucker literally defends a large temple from a group of people who are led by a guy with fighting capabilities that rivaled Freelancers, which is shown in seasons 9 and 10. We haven't gotten there yet, but it's literally shown, and he stops them from getting an ancient alien artifact. Church truly cares about Tex. You see, as he starts to remember his life as an AI more and more, just how badly he wants to get revenge on the director for doing everything he has done, for torturing the Alpha and creating all of the other segments of the AI, and for making Tex a copy of his dead wife that is programmed to fail her task no matter how hard she tries to succeed, because that's all he remembers of her. And finally, the Reds and Blues beat the meta, a bunch of idiots, versus the supercharged Mega Soldier. This shows how much they've grown since Blood Gulch, and their amazing trust and teamwork that they have acquired. In conclusion, this arc is great, but it gets even better. Now, in this saga, we get introduced to Agent Carolina and her quest to kill the director, yada yada yeah. It's well written, but the highlight of these seasons is that it tells the story of Project Freelancer. It jump cuts back and forth from the story of Red vs. Blue to the story of Project Freelancer, which is fully animated. And not only that, it is amazingly animated. With more fight scenes in it than ever in the entire series, it delivers backstory to new and old freelancers that give you reasons to care about even more when you jump back to the Reds and Blues story. The only weak spot to me is the cuts to church and the memory unit. And it isn't even bad, it just feels kinda pointless all things considered, since it's just a fake recreation of Blood Gulch. And the story for the Reds and Blues gets so much more interesting. When Church finally snaps and calls everyone out for the multiple deaths he has had, and hurts even Caboose's feelings, it was the first time in the series that the team had been broken up since the Blood Gulch Chronicles.
So that's it. You're just gonna turn your back on us.
Epsilon, I know that it...
No, you're right. I guess I should have seen that one coming. It's not exactly like you're new to the concept, is it?
That's a little harsh.
But you guys? After all the shit you've put me through, I really thought at least you would have my back. Us? What the hell did we do? You shot me through the head, you put a bomb in my gut, you killed me with my own damn tank, and that's just how we met.
Church, calm down. What's your problem?
You're my problem. You've always been my problem. Each and every one of you is just a problem that I have to deal with on a daily basis. Guys, wait a minute. Caboose.
Forget it, Church. We don't need them.
And the scene when they all get back together is even better. That scene right there is one of the best scenes in the entirety of the show, and it gives me goosebumps to watch to this day. The point is that it's hard to imagine Red vs. Blue getting better from here, especially after the director is finally taken care of and Church gets his closure. To a lot of people, this is where the series ended for them, but to me, the next saga is the best one yet. So, I could talk a lot about this trilogy. The show dips into the Reds and Blues fame at this point, while also disappointing said people. Tucker gets a whole story arc about his leadership skills, and Freckles is just amazing. But the thing that made these seasons for me was Felix and Locus and the perfect ending. Felix and Locus were amazing villains, who gained the audience's trust and immediately became some of the most despicable characters in the show, killing thousands just for money. The amazing in-depth story of Locus's need to be a soldier and not just a killing machine, and him lying to himself as much as he can to get there, never ever coming to terms with it or ever thinking that it's even a possibility that maybe what he's doing is wrong. And Felix being secretly scared of Locust, ever betraying him or ever not needing him. It's so intriguing because of how massive Felix's ego is during the entire show, and it honestly makes perfect sense for him to be scared of someone like Locust, someone who honestly has much more skill than he does. But while they are amazingly written villains, they are overshadowed by the ending. Red vs. Blue ends here, in my eyes. After Church's goodbye speech, his sacrifice, in this beautiful image that captures years of passion and story into a single frame, I can't think of a more perfect ending. A lot of people don't really think about the greatness of this ending. Yes, we will never know if the day is really saved, if the survivors all cheer, or if the Reds and Blues survive, but neither does Church. That's exactly what his ending speech is.
It was actually Doyle who made me realize something I'd never thought of before. There's so many stories where some brave hero decides to give their life to save the day. And because of their sacrifice, the good guys win, the survivors all cheer, and everybody lives happily ever after. But the hero never gets to see that ending. They'll never know if their sacrifice actually made a difference. They'll never know if the day was really saved. In the end, They just have to have faith. Ain't that a bitch?
If anything, it's kind of poetic that we, the audience, now get to know what it feels like when the hero makes a sacrifice. I have no problems with this season. I honestly like this season to an extent. I wish that they went more in depth with the Felix, Lucas, and Cyrus side story. It would have been really cool to see the corruption arc unfold, probably having to do with Cyrus's death or something. But all things considered, it was an season for me. It was very hit or miss. Didn't really matter too much, but it was a lot better than what was to come. Okay, so this season had a lot of missed potential. Keep in mind the series had been running for 15 years at this point. It was running out of ideas. But there were a lot of missed ideas here that could honestly get a video on their own. Cough cough, Griff leaving the group. If I go into that, that could be a whole video, you don't understand. But there were some good parts. Temple's backstory was good, at least to me. The fact that they existed, though, in general, made the Reds and Blues feel not as special. Like, if those traits are that common in other simulation troopers, could they have also done the same things if put in those situations? Along with that, it really undermines the ending of Season 13. We know everyone made it, except for Church. And honestly, the show is never the same with Church truly being dead. Griff gets a half-assed story arc that I think could have been amazing if done right, but if I go into that, it'll be another hour. But the one really great thing about this season is Caboose's arc of getting over Church, because he can't completely comprehend he's gone. And when we finally gave Church a goodbye, it was heartbreaking. It would have been a lot better, though, if it wasn't because of time travel. Time travel. Fucking time travel. Why would a show about a bunch of idiots need to dip into time travel? This season is absolute garbage. I can't name a single good part of this season aside from the Wash and Carolina story arc. Everyone's character development, gone. Reverted back to season 1 for some fucking reason, and now they're dealing with gods? No! This isn't the kind of shit that Red vs. Blue ever deals with, nor should it have ever. The main villain in this is so forgettable. Like, I had to look his name up while writing the script for this because he is so damn stupid. He has some of the most basic motivations I've ever seen, while also being unnecessarily complex in the process. Overall, this season is trash. When the season was released, I was genuinely sad because I knew my childhood had run its course, and that it probably wouldn't be the same again. This season is a weird one, because after the shit show that was last season, this one did the best it probably could have in the situation it was written in. It was not that good by any means, but compared to the previous season, it was amazing. Again, the only good part of it is the arc of Wash needing to lose his memory again for things to go back to normal. It was sad, but it was honestly the only really well-written part of the season. Watching as the Reds and Blues stuck by his side while he went to go relive his accident was touching. Overall, this would most likely serve as the final season with the Reds and Blues, because Caboose's voice actor was fired shortly after the season was released. No. I'm not touching this. If I talk about this season, I will literally blow up. This season ruins the show. I hope the writers just say it was a film made by Jax and make it not canon to the story. If you want a detailed analysis of the season, I'll link a video by Eruption Fang in the description that goes into detail about all the wrongdoings of this awful season. But no, this was like the final nail in the coffin that showed Red vs. Blue Grave was done for. It's bad. This show started off as just something a group of friends did for fun. Then it grew into something beautiful. All the reds and blues found their ways into our hearts, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this video right now. This tale of sim troopers, who despite being some of the dumbest people alive, do some very significant things, gives me goosebumps to this day. And I can't see anything ever taking the spot of my favorite show away from this. I truly can't describe the passion I feel for this show, and how much it helped me through my life, because it always made me smile and think. Since Bernie Burns left Rooster Teeth some time ago, and Caboose's voice actor was fired, it's most likely time to say goodbye to the Reds and Blues for future seasons. I hope the fan base stays strong for a long time, but thank you for the good times, smiles, and laughs that you brought us, Red vs. Blue. But sadly, all things have to come to an end.
Ain't that a bitch?
Hey, if you enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. We're actually an indie game company here at Dunderheads who've been working on a game for quite some time, and dude, if we could make anything half as good as Red vs. Blue, I mean, I would be so happy. But if you could please help support us, just subscribe, comment, like the video. If you liked this kind of video, just let me know in the comments below, and I can do more stuff like it in the future. But it's been an honor, and I shall hopefully see you in the next upload. Bye-bye.